Welcome, 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 folks. You are listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte. I am Todd Tramonte, and we are talking all things residential real estate across the great state of Texas today, as we do every Saturday right here on WBAP. If you've missed us a couple of times because of college football, I hope you enjoyed the games, but we're happy to be with you. As always, you can send us your questions online to treradio.com, treradio.com. TRE is short for Texas Real Estate. treradio.com. You can also catch videos and audio from past shows, as well as find all of our recommended pros like Patrick Glaros and the folks over at Cardinal Financial for all your mortgage needs. If you would like to catch up with us on social media, you can find at Todd Tramonte Realtors just about everywhere. And on Facebook especially, just find me personally at Todd Tramonte. We've got Brian McFarling from Texas Home Improvement here in the studio to pepper me with your questions. Welcome, Brian.
Always glad to be here, and I got lots. So they've been stacking up these questions.
TCU football.
Well, I tell you what, last time we were on the air, like a couple of years ago, it feels like, you were like, every time you mentioned Baylor, you said the undefeated Baylor Bears. I'm like, yeah, you wait now, and I'll bet you next time. Still undefeated.
And how do you feel about that, Brian? Still undefeated Baylor Bears. Astros had a good run. So if you ever watch our videos and you see over my shoulder here in the studio our Baylor and Astros pennants, we're still proud of them regardless of the records. But it does turn out that one of them made it all the way to Game 7 of the World Series, and the other one is still undefeated in college football. That could change here today, but we'll talk about that next week. So anyway, welcome back. If you've been missing us, we appreciate you missing us. We are here every Saturday at 3 o'clock unless there's some TCU football, and if that's the case, we'll be back as soon as we can. So I just want to say very quickly, as it is important today, go Bears, sick 'em Bears. Big game today. All right, folks, if you got questions, find us on social media, send them over. Brian's going to pepper me with your questions here in a minute. We've got producer Mason behind the computer, behind the controls, behind the camera, but not behind the microphone. Welcome, Mason. And no microphone to respond.
You should at least let him knock on the glass.
Yeah, you can. There we go. He's back there. All right, he is there making sure that we've got a video of everything. So if you ever want to find a recording of a question from the show, he goes in and edits those a lot of times and makes it easier for you to get questions and answers on our YouTube channel at tthst.tv. TTHST is short for Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, which is what we do all week, every day, in and out to make sure that we are the recommended real estate professional for the folks that are listening in. And that's what we do all week to make sure that we know what we're talking about here on the show. We will jump into your questions right now.
Something we probably need to address. I have a lot of questions about my house had some damage from the tornadoes. It wasn't completely destroyed, but a lot of roof damage. A lot of people that were near the path of the tornado that may have had roof damage, but they don't know.
Right.
Asking, should I check this out? What should I do to make sure my house is okay?
Very good questions, and we've had some questions from clients as well, and we've sent messaging out to a lot of our clients in the area. The answer is yes. So it's pretty obvious if the tornado directly hit your property, right? We've all seen the pictures on the news and social media of collapsed roofs and homes that looked like a crane just came by and lifted the roof off. And and our thoughts and prayers are with folks that have been affected. Thankfully, as far as I've heard, the personal injury has been fairly minimal, but the property damage has been pretty significant. And that's a big deal because that affects where people are living, where people are going to school, where people are going to work, insurance, and all these things. So we are very well aware that we were fortunate that we didn't have a whole lot of life lost, but we did have property damage. So I want to recommend that if you are anywhere near the path of that storm, really from west of Fort Worth all the way to Wiley and Saxe and beyond to the east, that you have somebody come out and take a look at your roof, your siding, potentially your fences. Sometimes there's damage there that because it's not directly in your line of sight, you may not find for a while. And the longer you wait, the more difficulty you may have getting some of that covered by insurance or getting some of those damages repaired. So I want to recommend that you reach out to Stryker. I've got them doing a project at my house right now, not tornado related, but we actually were right in the path of the storm, and we were just lucky to be one of those people that it jumped over us. But we literally called a babysitter and said, wake up our kids and go put them in our safe spot. And so we feel your pain to some extent. But if you were anywhere near where storm damage happened. You may not realize that you didn't get tornado force winds, but you got high winds, and it maybe affected shingles and flashing and windows and skylights and gutters and things like that. And now is the time to get that checked out, when the claims adjusters are really well aware of storm dates and locations, and they are, in the process of saying, yep, it's very likely that you need, your claim should be covered, that kind of thing. So reach out to Stryker Builds at 972-528-7987, 972-528-7987 for Stryker Roofing and Construction. You can find them online at Stryker Builds, plural, strykerbuilds.com. 972-528-7987. I do want to tell you a little bit more about Stryker real quick. I know the owner, Johnny's a great guy. I know some of their staff. Like I said, they're doing a project at my house right now. They're doing a couple of insurance claims for several, claim projects for several of our clients. We got them doing a water damage claim for one of our friends. We sold a house to some of our good friends. They moved in and wanted to remodel. Stryker's doing that as well. But the owners over at Stryker also happen to own an insurance company. And the benefit there is you've got a roofing contractor, a roofing company that fully understands the challenges of making sure that your insurance company works honestly and ethically with you and covers all that needs to be covered. I was talking to Johnny the other day. I told him we were going to jump on the air and reach out to our clients and friends that might have had tornado damage. And he said, make sure those people know, long before a roof might get replaced or gutters or fences or siding might come out and get repaired, that they do the work of disaster recovery. They will come out and put tarps up. If you did tarps yourself or had somebody driving through the neighborhood do tarps, now that we've had rain, if that didn't work well, they will come out and do that at a professional level. Now, they're way more affordable than typical, insurance vultures will come out and overcharge you to get that done. But they will also make sure that even that work, the tarps and the plywood and the damage assessments, are covered by your insurance company. That is absolutely part of the appropriate insurance need to protect your property. And as a matter of fact, the good insurance companies appreciate that you did everything you could right away to protect it, instead of leaving a gaping wound in the side of your house and letting it get rained on and letting mold and rot happen, right? So if you've had damage or you think you might have had damage, call Stryker Roofing and Construction today, 972-528-7987, or just remember this website, strykerbuilds.com. And when you talk with them, just make sure they know Todd Tramonte sent you over there, and they've got a handful of their contractors and the guys that are in the trucks on the street going out. They've got them on standby, and they will give you kind of front of the line service if you tell them Todd Tramonte sent you at strykerbuilds.com.
Several questions about people looking to put their home on the market within about a mile or two of the damage. Mm-hmm. A lot of questions asking, does this completely devalue our property? Should we wait? Yeah. What should we do if we're looking?
Great question, and obviously we had some pending transactions in our office as well. And so here's what we're telling people. If you have a house for sale or you happen to be buying a house that's anywhere near that path of the storm, same thing goes for you too. Call Stryker, have them come out, check the roof, check the gutters, check the siding, check the fences, things like that. If there's any other element of your home that you're concerned about, if you are selling, I think it's important to get those major systems checked again to provide a higher level of confidence in your buyer. Otherwise, you may risk them backing out of a transaction. If you're buying, I want you to ask the seller to do that, or go ahead and do that yourself. But I would not close and fund on a purchase that was anywhere near the storm if I had not double checked, specifically roof, but even windows, siding and fences and, gutters and things like that sometimes there's damage there that you just don't see, but is still very real damage. Flashing has pulled away from siding, and in future you're going to have water damage, things like that. So if I were in the process of buying, I would not finalize that purchase until I had it checked. If I was in the process of selling, I would protect myself from a buyer refusing to finalize a transaction, and I would have it checked as well. So strykerbuilds.com is where I would go. Tell them Todd Tramonte sent you. and I think you'll be in good hands. But no matter what, buying, selling, or not, if you're anywhere near where the storms were, I want to recommend that in the next couple of weeks you get that stuff checked, because we're heading into a wetter, rainier, potential ice issues, snow maybe. That time of year is not a good time of year to be gambling on whether or not you had damage. You need to know, or you're going to face more problems, more expense later. So strikerbuilds.com, get it checked out whether you're buying, you're selling, or none of the above, and make sure that you're in good shape.
Several questions here, and this is interesting because I'm interested in this answer here. People looking to buy homes to rent out for investment properties, they're specifically asking about the McKinney-Prosper area.
Yep.
And I just had to take my daughter to Regent Van Trout in Prosper High School. I hadn't been out that far.
That high school is impressive.
They have a food court in their cafeteria.
Yeah, it's massive, and it actually looks nice.
Yes.
And there's parking for like 1 million cars. It's unbelievable.
And you take a look out the back, and it's just an open field.
Yep.
It's amazing.
For now.
Exactly.
For the next 12 minutes.
Yes.
The area is booming. So Prosper is an interesting area that hasn't gotten quite as much publicity as McKinney and Frisco, but it's the next thing up there, right? And, give me some grace, because for years I've been calling Prosper Frisco 2.0. You can't tell really where it starts and stops anymore between Frisco and Prosper, McKinney and Prosper. It's a wonderful community. We just talked about literally, almost everything out there is new. There are certainly some old pockets, but it was a much smaller town when it was older. But the residential homes, apartments, the retail, the restaurants, even the commercial construction is, the vast majority of it is new because it's just growing so fast. But there's a huge demand for that area. So think about the evolution of our market here in Dallas-Fort Worth, especially on the east side. Let's talk about Dallas for a minute. It used to be that, if you were in Plano, everybody assumed everybody was driving into Dallas for jobs and stuff, right? Richardson for sure. Allen was kind of the next thing. Then you kind of got some of the Fairview stuff. And then there was a little gap until you got to McKinney, right? Well, now there's not much of a gap anywhere. So much of it had been filled in and built out. But now you've got pretty significant employment centers in Richardson, in Plano, even on the west side along the tollway in West Plano, in Frisco, right? So you've got a lot of people that are now driving into Richardson or Plano or Allen or Frisco, right? So it's no longer that downtown Dallas or even downtown Fort Worth is the only massive employment hub. Frisco is becoming a massive employment hub. Look at 121 on the tollway right there. There are corporate campuses in every direction. JP Morgan Chase has a huge campus there. Obviously, Toyota just built a massive one, right? Almost everywhere you look, there's thousands of people working there. And so now those people are saying, well, if I live in Prosper, I have a 15-minute commute to a massive employment center in Frisco, right? Or in McKinney. So the way we think about suburbs and commutes should be changing, right? So think about if you lived in Nevada, or you lived in Tawakoni or Quinlan, it was like, where is that, right? That is over an hour from downtown Dallas. Well, because of road construction, you can probably get there quicker now, but you can get to Richardson or North Garland or, Plano to a job a heck of a lot faster than you could before. So those are becoming, now that's the 45-minute commute now, where Prosper is a 15-minute commute to Frisco, where there are thousands and thousands of jobs. So anyway, that's a long answer to a short question, but again, it's meant to educate our audience on why those areas are booming, because there are I say new, but those areas that were small employment centers are now becoming huge employment centers, and so they become the center of the bullseye, the center of the map, where somebody might say, I want to live within 30 minutes of there. Now that easily includes Prosper, McKinney, Frisco, even starting to get up into like Sherman, where that used to be way on the edge, and now if you're working in McKinney, Sherman's not that far. But Sherman to downtown Dallas is a hike, so that's why some of these cities that used to be thought of as the far edge are now being thought of as pretty close, pretty short drive to some great, employment, shopping, recreational, all the above. I mean, think about what Frisco is today. You've got the Stars facility, you've got the Toyota soccer deal, you've got Dr. Pepper Park for the Rough Riders, you've got all the shopping, all the malls, the Cowboys. I mean, it's incredible. So a lot of people aren't even thinking about driving into downtown Dallas. They're talking about driving into Frisco, which opens up that whole north side, which is why so much development is happening.
I've met more people in the last year that live and prosper than ever.
And love it.
And love it.
Absolutely love it.
They don't just say, hey, I live in Prosper. They say, I live in Prosper, and then they add about 10 other reasons to move there.
Yeah, we're telling all our friends to move here. We got all the benefits. To the south, we have everything. To the north, we got open spaces, blah, blah, blah. And that, like we joked about the high school, the open spaces are closing in quickly because people are loving living there, and there's a ton of development. So if you have questions about a mortgage, whether you're moving to Prosper or wherever the heck you're moving, you need to talk to Patrick Glaros, 972-728-3420, or online at patrickglaros.com. That's exactly what I do. That's what our team members do. We have one team member right now refinancing a purchase and another team member purchasing a home. Both really, really thrilled with the work that Patrick Glaros and his team over at Cardinal Financial are doing for them. It is who we trust. It is who we use. It is, in my opinion, the best team of loan officers and lenders in the world. They will educate you through the process so you know what's going on. Why is that your rate? Why is that how much cash you need? Why is it maybe better to have less cash involved? Why would it maybe better to have a tiny bit higher interest rate? Instead of just shopping lowest interest rate on the internet and finding out that was not the best deal for you, but finding out when it's too late, call Patrick Glaros and get a customized approach to you and your financial situation. 972-728-3420 or online at patrickglaros.com. That's Glaros at patrickglaros.com.
A lot of questions on the state of the market. I think we were going to hold off till the next segment to talk about that.
Yeah. When we come back from the break, we'll give you a detailed state of the market, but see if we can answer one.
Well, here's one that's interesting, sort of tied into that. And I remember reading this headline. There have been now several major news sources, we're talking national news, talking about how 2020, we're going to see, and I'm going to use the word plummet, but this is in the home improvement renovation market. They've been talking about this and had to retract all their statements on the real estate market. But one, I've got a lot of people saying, is that true? Does that apply to Texas? And I think tying that into real estate, is that even going to affect the real estate market in next year?
No.
So that's why I didn't allot 3 seconds. I allotted 3 seconds for the answer.
So here's the explanation of why. I mean, the question basically is, are we going to see a tightening in the renovation market? Are we going to see people that stop renovating and remodeling their homes, et cetera, et cetera? The answer is no. Here's why. And this, I believe the answer will surprise you. I do believe that in 2020, we are going to see a continuation of the current trend, which is an ever so slight slowing of the pace of growth. That's an important phrase. Slowing of the pace of growth in North Texas. So I think it's going to look a lot like 2019 did, where buyers are going to get a little bit more leverage in negotiations and sellers need to be a little bit more reasonable, but we're still going to have relatively low inventory. Now, inventory is, little by little slightly climbing. And buyers, again, are getting little bit better options. But we still have a market where sellers have more leverage than buyers. As we move towards 2021, maybe we're going to start getting towards a balanced market. But as we head into a year 2020 with election cycles and drama, I think we're just going to keep seeing more of what we're seeing. Now, to answer the question, based on that information, as you see sellers starting to understand they need to do a little bit more to sell a house, what does that mean? What is the little bit more?
Right.
Remodeling their house. As you see buyers getting a little bit more leverage, they may be open to buying a house that needs a little work and doing it themselves, or buying a house that has more work done to it. Or some sellers may decide to stay in their homes and remodel them. So I think all of those reasons point towards more remodeling, or at least the same amount, and not a slowdown in remodeling. I think what you might begin to see is a slightly lower amount of rental property remodeling. But that's always minimal anyway. And the reason for that is as you see a market begin to stabilize a little bit, then you don't have this massive occupancy rate, and you have a little bit more of the balancing of rent versus own stuff too. And you'll see landlords maybe doing a little bit less for tenants. But that is not going to be a massive moving of the needle in the world of remodeling. Like if I were owned a hardware store, that would not be a statistic that works.
They were showing Home Depot, Lowe's, you better be ready because your stock's about to go down, and I don't even know where they get that information from anymore.
Honestly, it ticks me off that they say that, because then the general consumer that gets their information from a source like that is going to run with that and make decisions with that for the next year or so. And then you potentially create that self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You go ahead and fulfill that bogus news story, and you choose not to do something. And then what happens? You wait and you wait. And when do you do it? You do it when you have to do it, when you're going to sell, or when something is inoperable, and you end up doing it in a horrible time, at a terrible time to do it. I don't know what 10 years from now looks like, but it might be a terrible real estate market. By the way, there's no such thing as a terrible real estate market. There's such things as extreme real estate markets. So if prices drop and it's terrible for sellers, who is it good for?
The buyer.
Buyer, right? Well, I'd love to buy a house in that market. If prices are all-time high and interest rates are high, who is it terrible for? Buyers. Well, I'd still like to be a seller in that. You know what I mean? So there's no such thing as a garbage real estate market. There are, by the way, when the media says the real estate market is tanking, what they mean is property values have tanked and it's horrible for sellers. But that's still a great time to buy a house. Right? It's not a good time to buy a house if you can't afford it, but it's never a good time to buy a house if you can't afford it. So that type of market hurts the economy more, and that's why people call that, a down real estate market. But if you're an individual homeowner in a family, you would love to buy a house during that market. So anyway, we could talk more about that another time. But if you're thinking about remodeling and you're thinking about windows, you should be thinking about America's Choice windows. That's what I thought about when I did my windows. That's what Brian thought about twice on 2 properties. If you're thinking about a remodel or an upgrade or an energy efficiency improvement, especially when it's about to get really, really cold, americaschoicewindows.net is where you're headed. 10 windows, double hung, double pane, energy efficient argon-filled windows installed at your house for only $39.80. That is a heck of a deal on good windows. 10 double hung, double pane, white vinyl, energy efficient, argon-filled windows installed at your house for $39.80. Anywhere in the Metroplex, call them at 214-390-5598, 214-390-5598, or online at americaschoicewindows.net, americaschoicewindows.net. Now, we had a really, really, really dry late spring and early summer, and then we had kind of a spotty, wettish early fall, and so people are seeing cracks above their doors and their windows and their garages, and they wonder, is it foundation damage or should I just ignore it? Well, like any other potential problem, you should never ignore it because it's only likely to get worse. I want you to call Due West Foundation Repair, 972-406-0912. Due West is owned and operated by our good buddy Jim Dutton, host of Texas Home Improvement, right here on WBAP every Saturday. He and his team will do exactly what they should do. They'll look you in the eye, they'll shake your hand, and they'll tell you what you need to know. They won't sell you more than you need. They won't sell you less than you need. They will do the right thing. If you have cracks or shifting of floors and windows and door frames, you need to get it checked out now before it becomes an expensive problem. 972-406-0912 for Due West Foundation Repair. We'll be right back with more Texas Real Estate on WBAP. Welcome back to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte. We are taking all of your questions today, as many as we can get to. We had a big old pile. You can send them to us online at treradio.com. You can also find all of our recommended professionals there. You can find windows, roofing, plumbing, electrical, heating and air conditioning, insurance, all the housing-related trades that you might need. And there's not a single name on there that I have not personally or would not personally trust at my own house. As a matter of fact, when I kind of look down our list here, I have used every single person on that list personally myself. So you can trust them at treradio.com on the recommended pros tab. You can also find access to videos and audio from past radio shows. So make sure you tune in there. We've got a bunch of questions piling up, but keep them coming in. But we did promise you that when we came back from the break, we would do a short state of the market. And we try to do this for you once a month or so just to make sure that you've got a good, accurate read on the residential real estate market in North Texas. What I want to tell you is it has changed. It's been a while since there was really change of any note that would change the way you make decisions around your current or future residential real estate needs and desires. And the big change has been in the attitude of home buyers. There has been progress on the buyer side of the leverage, of the lever here. If you think about the market as either a seller's market, where sellers have a ton of leverage and buyers don't have much, or on the other extreme, a buyer's market, where buyers have a lot of leverage and sellers tend to be more needy, more desperate, and a balanced market being in the middle, we are still on the seller's side, but we are much closer to the middle than we've been in probably 10 plus years. We are not in a stable market. We are not in a balanced market. We are still in a seller's market. But more so than anything, we've seen the days on market stretch out a little bit, where we're much closer to 60 days on market than we have been in a long time. There are some areas of the Metroplex that are beyond 60. For the most part, we're in the 50s. But if you look back a couple of years ago, we were down into the sometimes single digits and teens. So, you're seeing that double and more than double in some areas. Now, that is definitely a sign of a return to normalcy. But we're still seeing inventory numbers, meaning the number of houses on the market. In most of the really popular areas, we're still seeing those numbers well below 3 months. Below 3 months or right at 3 months in some places. Some areas we're seeing a little bit more than that. But when we see a flat, stable market in our area, that's 4 to 6 or 5 to 7 months of inventory. Meaning, if a home's been on the market for 100 days, that's not that big of a deal. But in the current market, we're still at 50-ish, 55, 56 days on the market, so 100 still looks crazy. That gives you the comparison of the fact that we're still in a relatively quick turning market, just not nearly as quick as we were a couple of years ago. So because of that, buyers are starting to be a little bit more comfortable in the process. Now, that's hurting some buyers. If you're trying to buy a house in West Richardson or West Plano or in Keller or in Aledo right now, a lazy, slow approach as a buyer is going to hurt you. There are some pockets of the market, though, even some pockets of Dallas or in town Fort Worth, where buyers can be a little bit more methodical about their approach. The only way to know where you can and can't do that is to have a really great real estate agent that knows those markets, that will create a custom strategy for you at different times of the year in different neighborhoods and different price points and different situations, and really advise you through that. If you've got a first-time agent, friend of a friend, sweet, friendly neighbor from the neighborhood who's nice and well-intentioned, but not a real expert, you're going to get your clock cleaned in this market because it's changing. And you've got agents who have been doing business for a year or two, and they haven't seen the market change. They've never been in this market before, and they're going to get you in some trouble. I mean, it's just statistically likely, more often than not, right now, if you have an agent that is a nice, smart person, but not a strategically sound expert at what they do, they're going to get you in trouble. And they're not going to know it, and you're not going to know it until it's too late, or you may never know it, which is maybe even worse. You just, you got a really bad deal that you convinced yourself was a good deal, and you never know. Maybe that's probably not the worst. Ignorance might be bliss. The worst is when you think everything's going well until middle or late transaction, and then you realize you're committed to a really bad opportunity. So that's kind of the state of the market. It's not dramatically different than it was last year or 2 years ago, but the difference is really on the buyer side. Buyers do have a little bit more leverage, but sometimes that leverage is causing buyers to make bad choices and get hurt. The flip side of that is sellers need to be a little bit more reasonable right now and the really stubborn sellers that just think that their house is worth 10% more every year are getting hurt. Now, those are the people, by the way, that are bringing up the averages on days on market because their houses aren't selling like hotcakes. They're not selling within the first weekend because they're either overpricing or under-preparing. They're not doing the things that are needed to sell a home to a buyer that has a little bit of wiggle room in a negotiation. So I hope that helps. I hope people are understanding that the market is changing a little bit. Now, let me give you some bullet points to encourage you. Homes are still selling at the highest prices they've ever sold for in North Texas, and home prices are still climbing. Buyers actually have more options than they've had for the last couple of years. Interest rates are still phenomenally low, really low. So those bullet points are still true, but buyers need to recognize you have a little more leverage, but if you overplay that, you're going to get hurt. Sellers need to recognize buyers have a little bit more leverage, and if you don't recognize that, you'll get hurt. Real estate agents need to wake up and adjust your strategy. Unfortunately, 95 out of 100 real estate agents only have one strategy, and it's a spring and summer strategy that says, I'll show you houses, we'll pay close to or a little bit more, but we'll try to pay a little bit less than what's being asked. They won't do any strategic work. They'll just base everything off of what's being asked. Or on the sell side, price high, hopefully you don't sell a whole lot below that what you asked. I mean, these are just like my 9-year-old could come up with these strategies. And I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just saying that's what the sum average, of our industry will do for you. So you need an expert now more than ever. And let me just give you a big warning. If the market continues what would be a normal cycle, and I'm not saying that it will, but if it does, then it'll look like the next few years of a little bit more buyer leverage, a little bit less seller leverage. At some point, we'll find a balanced market that is honestly best for everybody, and then we'll probably go into a buyer's market where buyers have more leverage and sellers have less leverage. As we head into that, expertise from a real estate agent, a mortgage lender, an inspector, appraiser, a survey, a title company, an insurance agent will be at a premium. Lately, excitement and optimism and energy have been at a premium. People have been getting away with lower levels of expertise because the market has hidden the need for expertise. Because a buyer might have to try 5 or 6 times, but could get a house that was going to be worth more tomorrow than today. A seller could pick a crazy high price, and even if it was too high, could work their way down to a really great sales price because in a lot of ways, the market was driving that. Now, our company has really loved helping sellers use that market and drive even higher, unbelievably high sales prices and help our buyers, even in a market where buyers weren't supposed to get good deals, get great deals. So we've loved this crazy market, but trust me, I don't want the market to soften, but as it does, that's the best thing in the world for a team like mine because we have built the company based on expertise, building and customizing strategies specifically for our clients' needs. I am so looking forward to massive deals for our sellers and unbelievable deals for our buyers because the other agents and the consumers will be confused and going with the momentum and following the headlines, and we will be building strategic, creative approaches to great deals it's so much fun. Again, I have to be careful because I don't want the market to get harder for everybody, but if it does, then we just have a heyday for our clients. Our clients love it, we love it. As a whole, we like the economy to stay really strong, and I think it's going to for quite a while. But that's my warning for the state of the market and what you should do with it for the next couple of years. Every single day as we move forward, expertise from a professional, full-time, expert-oriented, highly educated real estate agent, lender, title rep, insurance agent, appraiser, inspector, surveyor, all those things. That expertise will be at a premium. So less and less and less go with your friend and nephew who just got a license, the lady from the neighborhood, the guy from around the corner that's a nice guy. You need expertise, whether it's my company or not. If my company can earn your business, of course, we'd love to. You can call the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team at 214-310-0008 or find us online at overunderagent.com where we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Overunderagent.com or put this phone number in your cell phone and call and text whenever you need us. 214 214-310-0008. 214-310-0008. Even if you're not thinking about buying or selling soon, if you have a real estate question, just call us or text us, 214-310-0008. You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte on WBAP, and we'll get back to your questions right now.
So we've got an analytical seller. That's what I titled this question. And I'm going to ask it this way. How do you deal with an analytical seller? And I'll just make up a scenario. Let's say the home, they want to sell it for $300,000, and you guys do your research. I'm not saying pull comps. I'm just saying doing research, and you find out that that house just won't sell for that amount of money. How do you deal with somebody? Because I've noticed a lot of real estate agents that would just throw the house on the market. If it doesn't sell, then they'll go, well, I told you, and they drop it. And maybe that even hurts the process because it's on the
It hurts it badly, yeah. So that's a traditional approach. There's so many things to say here. Number one, sellers are almost always analytical, and buyers are almost always emotional. Now, you can be the most analytical, technical engineer in the world. When it's time to buy, we all sort of turn into a kid in the candy aisle. You know, it's, oh, I want that. That looks good. That my emotions, the dream, the vision, the narrative of living in this home and my life getting better can get the better of us. When you're selling, you tend to be looking at how much can I get? How much is it going to cost? How much am I going to walk away with so that I can then enter that emotional, exciting version of what I'm going to buy next, right? So an analytical seller is not a strange thing at all. Now, when it comes down to the specifics of the question, we could go a million different directions with that as well. But the easiest thing I can say to how would we approach a seller who has an unrealistic expectation of what their home is worth is just to tell them the truth. And I train our agents, and then of course we train and consult with real estate agents all over the country, all over North America. We just had an event with agents from Canada and all over. You've got to tell your client or your prospective client the truth, whether they like it or not. Leadership often involves having hard conversations. Leadership is always about telling the truth. Now, just telling a client, well, maybe we could get that. Let's try it. In my opinion, that's shady. That's misleading. It's harmful, right? If you're a doctor and somebody comes to you with the flu and they're like, well, I think it's just a cold. Could you just give me, a decongestant? And you're like, no, there is a harmful virus that has killed people in your body right now. We need to deal with this the right way. We need a heavier dosage. We need a more costly treatment, and you need to do it now. But your patient is like, well, I really think it's just a cold, and I'm going to be traveling, so I'll just come by next week. You just give me some cold medicine. Could you imagine a doctor so unethical to be like, all right, well, we'll try it for a couple of weeks. If you start dying, then we'll try the right treatment, right? That would be a crime. But in real estate, if somebody says, look, we want $300,000 for this house, and Bonnie and Carl over 4 blocks over with, their house, they got that much, and so that's what we want. And an agent's like, look, let's give it a try for a month and see what happens. Now, no one's going to die, right? That's, the parallel is actually pretty good until, no one's going to die. But here's the reality. If you wait a month, let's say I thought your house is worth $275, you think it's $300, we price it at $300 for a month. Well, now it's got what we call shopware. If something's been sitting on the shelf too long in the shop, then it's on the clearance rack, or if someone's like, well, I don't want to pay full price for it anymore. That's what happens on your house. But a 1% difference on a $300,000 house is not chump change. That's $3,000. What if it was 5%? Now it's $15,000, right? So what happens though is you make the adjustment and you still don't adjust to what it should have been priced for. So you go from $300 to $290, still worth $275, but actually now people are losing confidence in it. So now it takes you 90 days or 120 days to actually catch up with what it's worth, and someone pays you $255, right? So it cost you $20,000 and 90 days. Where if you had priced it at $275 in the first place, you probably would have got it. Or if you use a strategy like our team at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, you might price it at $275 and actually get $285 or $290, or maybe $300 or more. But the fact of the matter is, the right thing to do for a real estate agent is to tell the truth. Here's what I believe it's worth. Here's what I believe we could sell it for. Here's how we would do it. Here's why I don't feel confident asking what you guys think. And if that doesn't work out, then we're not the right professional for you, right? If you want me to treat the flu like a cold, I'm not the right doctor for you, because I don't make unethical choices. I don't do things that I know will harm people. That's how you got to approach it as a real estate agent.
I hear this happening all the time.
I mean, we call it buying the listing. It happens more often than not, where an agent who's not an expert, who's not confident to lead and advise and guide their client, will come to your house. Problem number one, I don't think the first appointment should be at the house. Come to your house and they'll say, hey, what do you guys think the house is worth? What would you guys like to get for it? And then their goal is to just do it for that. They're hoping they can get it. They don't know if they can get it because they haven't done any real expert, they've done comps, which we've talked about 1,000 times, totally inadequate. And then they're hoping they do, but if they don't, they got the listing. They got their sign in the yard. Right. They got the client, and then they'll say, hey, well, the market's telling us we need to drop it. Well, listen up, Bob. The market was telling you that before you ever put it on the market. But
we're like, see those back steps? I built those steps.
Yeah.
Coming down.
This is porcelain tile. I don't know if you knew that. You're like, I did know that.
And it's yellow.
$1.99 a foot at Floor & Decor. Anyway, all right. If you're thinking about appliances, by the way, we were talking about this off air. If you're thinking about appliances, it is not as simple as going to the big box store and hoping you find something on sale. We have dozens of clients every year that regret doing that. You want to call Eddie McBroom at Elite Appliance, 214-306-6900, 214-306-6900, or if you forget the phone number, just go to treradio.com and you can find all of our recommended pros over there. But Eddie will point you towards appliances that you never knew existed, that are way better than the ones at the big box stores. He'll point you towards some good deals, and he can certainly point you towards some beautiful, really amazing stuff if you're looking for great appliances. The thing he does that that no one at the box store is going to do is you can tell him, hey, we're replacing our cabinets and we want to do these appliances, or we're buying a new house and this is what's in it and this is what we're replacing, and he'll say, okay, here's why you can't do this or that. Here's why I don't recommend you do this or that. Here's why you should do this, and I have 3 options, and here's the one I think is best for you, for your budget and for the quality of house you have and for how you want to use it. No one's going to do that at the box store, and they don't have as many options. They don't have the cool stuff. They can't tell you which brands are failing miserably, which brands don't honor their warranties, and all those things. So call Eddie McBroom at Elite Appliance at 214-306-6900, or go to treradio.com and you can find everything about him there.
Got a real interesting question on disclosures, and this one specifically is about foundation repair. My home had 22 piers put in it about 10 years ago. We're putting the home on the market. Do we have to disclose that?
Yes.
Okay.
Period. Yes. So in Texas, we have a document called a seller's disclosure notice, and it's basically, there's a longer title about the disclosure of all these things. One of the questions on that notice is, have you had any structural repairs done or structural damage? Have you had any major water damage or things like that? That is a yes or no question, and then there's a question about details. And if you don't disclose that, you are, by definition, failing to disclose that, and that's unethical, and that is really, really bad. Don't ever do that.
Do they list out the things you must disclose?
Yeah. Okay. Some things are hyper-specific, like structural, roofing, water damage, things
Termites.
like that. Have you had any issues with pests, things like that? Other things are going to be more of a discussion around when inspections happen. But trust me, foundation damage, structural damage is probably the number one thing that buyers, certainly educated buyers in North Texas, are looking for. It probably scares more buyers than roofs, electrical. Water damage is way up there too. But structural damage is viewed by the average consumer as extraordinarily expensive, which it isn't always that way, and basically a deal killer. Now, I think it's not a deal killer, and I think sometimes it helps you make a great purchase. You call someone like Due West to come fix it and warranty it with a good warranty, and you might get a better deal on a house. But as far as disclosure, the short answer is, if you've had structural damage, yes, you've got to disclose that. And if you had it inspected, if you had a warranty, you want to disclose all that, and you want to transfer all that, and there are ways to do that where it can actually be an advantage to you. We do that, for our clients all the time. If you're thinking about insurance, which is relevant to all the tornado stuff, all the structural stuff, reach out to my buddy DP Lambert. He's done my personal insurance and a whole bunch of our team and saved everybody a ton of money. You can call him at 214-383-5684, 214-383-5684, or as always, go over to treradio.com and look up our recommended pros and find DP Lambert right there. He's with Goosehead Insurance. Great company. Absolutely trust him with my own personal home and auto, with lots of our clients, home and auto as well. DP Lambert at Goosehead Insurance. 214-383-5684, or just find him at treradio.com with all of our recommended pros there as well. I think we got time for a couple more.
Yeah, a quick one here. Got a couple looking for about 2 acres. They found a place near Decatur, and it's just land.
Yep.
And the answer to this question should be just call Todd, but I'm going to say this.
Call Todd.
Call Todd. Well, here's why. Because they're asking for things to look for when they're buying land, because they're looking to build on that land. Okay. And that's where you guys could start the conversation.
Yep. So you're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte. I am Todd Tramonte. One of the things our team does at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team is specialize in buying homes on land. Obviously, we can help you buy land and have a home built, or sometimes have a home moved out there. You know, we love working with like historical homes that can be relocated and things like that. But yes, we can help you sort of qualify or filter the properties that would be most conducive to building a home and having what typically people are looking for on, say, 2 to 5 acres, 2 to 10 acres, which is room to play, not necessarily a farm or a ranch to truly work, but room to garden, grow some fruit, maybe have a pond, have room to, have some animals or ride a four-wheeler, things like that. And in that Decatur area, there's actually quite a bit of availability compared to some other areas of town. But yes, we could help you with that. You can call us at our office at 214-310-0008, 214-310-0008, or find us online at overunderagent.com. Otherwise, if you're looking, you want to look at things like fences. Is it city water, well water? Is it septic or city plumbing? What are you butting up against? What are the neighbors? What's your access to a main road? Are you landlocked by other properties? What's ingress and egress, which is basically just, how do you get in and out? Things like that. But good question. Our team would love to help you with that at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team. You can call us or text us anytime. Just save this phone number, everyone listening. If we can ever help you with anything real estate related, even if you never buy or sell with us, you can always call us or text us at 214-310-0008, 214-310-0008. Or you can always find us online at overunderagent.com, where we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Overunderagent.com. If you have questions and you want us to answer them on the show, send them to treradio.com. If you'd like to know what your house would sell for in this changing market and find out in less than 1 minute, go to valuethishouse.com. You can get a valuation of what your home would sell or rent for in less than 1 minute at valuethishouse.com, valuethishouse.com. If my team and I could ever earn your business or answer a question for you on air, give us a call, 214-310-0008, or online at overunderagent.com. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with more Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte on WBAP.